Hoodie guy coming back here with another one. Well, we're taking a look at this article on Kaspa Hub, and I'm just going to ask the question: is Kaspa community growing fast? They're talking about several things here about how GameStop taught us that retail is not powerful, and yeah, we are powerful. I mean, if everyone stopped using Coinbase or Binance, they would go out of business pretty quick. If no one bought or sold on there, and everyone exported their crypto, uh, what the fuck is happening at Kaspa, and why are you shilling it? The community's stacked with some big players. Caspa's being suppressed. Maybe everything's being suppressed. Who's paying attention? A link of stuff here. Caspa's listed on Coinbase and Binance Futures already, which it's been on Binance Futures for a long time. Marathon Digital mining and holding it. Michael Saylor posted a Kaspa colored picture. A lot of people made a big deal about that. That was a couple years ago, almost 2 years almost. The guy that made that, he posts a lot of Bitcoin content, and you can see that he does have that color scheme sometimes before and after this. So whether Michael Saylor intentionally did that or just shared it, that's kind of left up for you to decide. I don't think it is that big a deal personally. And at the end of the article, the guy is saying, should you go 10x leverage? I'm not saying to do that, but also maybe. I don't think leverage is a good idea personally. They're not trying to say that, but here is, the text already there, upgraded 10 blocks per second, getting better, vprogs, the silver script, stuff like that. There are the L2s, but here it says the community is growing fast, and I'm not sure the community is growing fast. Don't get me wrong. I love the Kaspa community, but let's just take a look at the data. Now, this is cast.fyi on Wayback Machine, so you can go to the web archive or just type in Wayback Machine and, cast.fyi/top-addresses. And you can see this is really close to when Kaspa was 21 on CoinMarketCap, hit that price of a little over almost 21 cents or whatever it was back in the summer of 2024. And you can see that there was more than 580,000 addresses with more than one Kaspa. So when you look at that and you look at some of these numbers, like how many crabs there were, octopuses, fish, and then you go on to Kaspa Stream right now. Now Kaspa Stream is also has anything over, basically there's 537,000 addresses with more than one Kaspa. And if you look back there, a year and a half ago, there was 580,000. Now there's some more listings on centralized exchanges. There wasn't Kraken and stuff like that back then. So there's a lot of people that are holding it, but at the same time, you look at Bitcoin, it's went from, it hasn't had a crazy amount of growth. So according to Grok, it's went from 54 million roughly to 57 million. So in general, I'm not real worried about this. So I'm not bringing this up like, oh my God, there's not a ton of more wallets holding one Kaspa. There are people, and you can see there are some Bitcoin people that are getting onboarded. But when you look at the data of how many people hold one Kas, and yeah, there's more centralized exchanges now, even some, Kraken's, the biggest probably listing in that time period, but there's some smaller ones, and there's going to be people that hold it on that centralized exchange, and they don't care about self-custody. So it's not an exact snapshot of every possible Kas holder, but the on-chain people with self-custody wallets is actually declined in the last year and a half. For Kaspa, the price pretty much has went down that whole time with some pullbacks, holding sideways. But, now we're in the bear market. That sentiment's down. People aren't flooding in. So it's just when you look at the data, some of these here, like here, there's 100,000 crabs. When you go back to then, there was 119,000 crabs. So I think that there's a little bit more people under 100 Kaspa, and 100 Kaspa is not much money at all. Shrimp, there's 104,000 shrimp. Here, they don't even have shrimp listed. But when you look at the octopus, 111,000 back then. Now there's 98,000 octopus. Dolphin, there was 20,655. There's a few more dolphins now. So the dolphins, people with 100,000's increased, which is a good sign. So that's increased a little bit. That's increased by 1,000. Sharks, 2,800. There was 3,000, so there's less sharks. The whales, there was 226. Now there's 192. Humpbacks, there was 16, still 16. And now there's that one Aquaman. There has been some in the past. So it is what it is, and I'm not worried about it. But at least on people holding more than one Kaspa, the only wallet size that's really grown is the dolphins, which is a good size, and that's a good size, for the 100,000 to 1 million. Where if a guy's pretty serious, that's a fairly realistic spot for someone to potentially land in the over 100,000 range. So, yeah. Let me know what you think in the comments. I know that there's still a lot of people on X and stuff, so maybe that metric, it feels like the community is growing. And but when you look at the people holding on chain, that's actually declined a little bit, except for the dolphins. But overall, the amount of people holding one Kaspa, and I think with a lot of these different projects, you end up having 4 or 5 wallets, with one has a couple Kaspa with like K Social and this and that. So some of this there's not really that a ton more people. There's more projects, so people grab an extra couple wallets because they're taking part of it. So that's all I got. Let me know what you think. Thanks for watching, and have a good Sunday.